Well, the question was, is it a myth that 50,000 Jews haven't been deported from Bulgaria? And I say we have to be careful with the word myth. It's not a myth, it's a fact. Now, we have to interpret and to understand how it has been possible. And how it has been possible, and then you start to think about why have the Jews not been deported. And you start to question. And if you say it is a king because you love the king and you have big hopes in the king, like it was a case when I did my interviews in Bulgaria in the summer '91, you create a myth because you have no documents.
Why we did that?
Well, I think I tried to show yesterday, to explain that each period after the turn, after the collapse of the regime, of the communist regime, each period created its myth. Before, 20 years after, we have a consensus, I think, even if we have divergences, but there is a consensus that was a conjunction of goodwill or different factors, okay? And then you can evaluate, did the king really do something? The role of the church, was it decisive? Or was it the role of Peshev who was decisive? Or was it because the people of Bulgaria, the Bulgarians are more tolerant than any other people? Things like that. But you create myth because you want. It's more belief than
it's more,
study.
It's more optimistic.
Well, I think nations like myths, because it's easier to understand. It's a difficult question. Why were the Jews saved? Okay, it's a difficult question. Now we have the answer, many answers. But, well, at the beginning, the first reaction was to say the communists had created a myth. As I said yesterday, they did such a poor propaganda, only in the 80s, not before. They made such a poor propaganda that people started to believe they didn't take part to the rescue of the Jews. And I tried to explain yesterday that, of course, the communists surely we have documents, we have evidence of it. They took part of the rescue of Jews, because in the Marxist ideology there is no they don't praise, it doesn't praise xenophobia and anti-Semitism, never. So it was just normal according to the ideology of the communist Marxist ideology. It was normal to be against anti-Semitism, and probably partisans have taken part to this rescue. But it was a side effect of this trivial propaganda, communist propaganda. So we forgot about. After the turn, you didn't want any more to know about them, which was a mistake. And according to me, if you don't say that, if you don't mention the Jews anymore among the people who we fought against the deportation, well, you are doing the same thing like the communist regime did before, yes. Not to say the truth.
Yes. So where do you think must start this fight with myths? At what level? When? How can we be sure we are prepared to fight our myths?
Well, it's a task of the historians to destroy myths.
But they do build them in Bulgaria.
Well, you put the finger on a very interesting question. Do historians, professional historians, not official, it's something else, professional historians, do they create myths? It can happen, yes. It happens because, especially in contemporary history, you know, the border between politics and history and writing of history is very thin. And historians are like other citizens. They have their own opinion. When I say that in Bulgaria after the turn, after the collapse of the communism, when I say that there was a myth about the king, it didn't come from historians. I don't remember, but probably they didn't fight against it. Well, I don't know, but that was what the society wanted to hear. A myth is something the society wants to hear, and it's when we say Bulgaria saved the Jews, it's a beautiful story.
I can tell you something as a witness, no matter how young I am, I do remember. Actually, that myth of Bulgarian saving the Jews was absolutely given at once. I've never known that, and I've never had the need to know it. Suddenly, after the 90s, somebody suddenly said it like in a very rapid and immediate way, and we started living with this new truth. We didn't know it before. We didn't need it before. They just
Yes, I understand, because at that moment, after post-communist Bulgaria needed to create a new identity, national identity.
That's it.
And myths are short stories, very easy to understand for people. If you try to understand to people, look, okay, the Jews haven't been deported, but don't forget, I mean, Bulgaria deported the Jews from Macedonia and Thrace. And then, listen, the king doesn't really wanted to save the Jews. There are no documents about it. Just he had to resist to the orders of Germany for some reasons. And then look, the church, but not the whole church. There were two people among the church, you know. And then Peshev. Yes, but Peshev was not the only one. And also the Jews wanted to defend themselves, which is true. In Bulgaria, the Jews built a lobby and went to see Peshev. What didn't happen in France, for instance. So that's something interesting to see how the Jews in Bulgaria decided that, they wanted to defend themselves. But you know, the problem with history is that you never know the future of the past. You rewrite all the time. History is a work in progress.